I have reports from our intelligence. Russia is doing this. And it says, I won't share intelligence with Iran if America stops sharing intelligence with Ukraine. Isn't that blackmail? Absolutely. Right now, we are building our own bilateral relations with the Middle East, and we will continue to do so. Ukraine shares expertise which does not exist in the Middle East, in my opinion. No one there has it. But I don't want this to sound, condescending in any way. It's simply because of this war. Expertise is not just about drones. It's about skills, strategy, a system in which the drone is one part or another. Part of defense, part of the strategy. We have received requests from the Emirates and Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, we have people from Jordan and also from Kuwait. As for places like Bahrain and Oman, to be perfectly honest with you, we actually haven't sent any organized groups there just yet. Our people are working, talking, I don't know. Whether they've been sent or not, we'll see. What I'm saying is, we're holding consultations with all of them. That's the number of countries for you. With which of them? With which of them will we agree on long-term economic or military economic relations? I don't know yet, but I intend to do this with most of them. The bad news is that the Russians are moving toward their plan of 1,000 drones per day. The good news, if you can call it that, is that so far their plans are not matching reality, but without a doubt, that is their goal. That's why our understanding is also to produce 1,000+ interceptor drones per day. And as of today, we know that, provided we have the budget and reduce shortages, we are approaching the capability to produce 2,000 interceptor drones per day. We will respond to each of their attacks. We are talking about this absolutely openly. Russia, apart from exerting pressure, and we can see that, on the contrary, the pressure on Russia in the world is decreasing. I'm not talking about the reasons right now, but we can see changes in the sanctions policy, and therefore, unlike everyone else or many others in the world, Ukraine has its own sanctions, like these. These are the kinds of responses. They must feel the pressure. If even Ukraine doesn't respond to their strikes, well, Russia will simply continue, not even considering a pause in this war. Our supplies were not stopped. I am very grateful to President Trump and grateful to his team and grateful to everyone. Our supplies were not stopped, but this supply regarding Patriot missiles, it is not as large as we need. Are we afraid that it will stop? Yes, I am talking about that. How much longer after this we will be able to, I will not talk about that. I would very much like the American side to understand that the east of our country is part of our security guarantees. About what I said. Those same lines of defense and the morale of our society are also a guarantee of security. The morale at the beginning of the war helped to build, yes, even though it sounds painful, a living line of defense. People themselves stood up against the enemy. The Americans are ready to finalize these guarantees at a high level when Ukraine is ready to leave Donbass. In my opinion, the atmosphere created by the Russian side in the dialogue with the American side is based precisely on this emotion. Let the Ukrainians leave Donbass, the Americans will give the security guarantees that the Ukrainians want, and the Russians will definitely end this war. Roughly speaking, we are in this kind of triangle. What exactly will await Russia, their army, when they attack the territory of our state again? There is no clear answer to this yet. There are general statements, and they are very impressive. Once again, I am grateful. I don't know, sometimes you need to thank 1,000 times, and even that isn't enough. That's from my own experience. So just in case, I'll thank you once more. Yes, that is true. But despite all this, what we truly need is for people to look back much later and sincerely say thank you for the security guarantees and the safety we have worked to provide for everyone. And you will understand that withdrawing from Donbass, not only is it wrong, immoral, and so on, but today, withdrawing from Donbass would mean weakening Ukraine's defense. Exactly. We don't have. Russia always has one more move. What kind? For example, nuclear weapons, which they constantly talk about, scaring the whole world. Look, in any stalemate situation, at some point they send this kind of message, what if? So tell me, why wouldn't they start a war again, under some new conditions, with some additional demands, and say to the world, look, if not, then we can use the appropriate weapons. We are not protected from this. Let's put it this way, so that on the last day of this war, we don't end up, as we did on the first day, alone with our problems, challenges, shortages, and so on. This is what we are working on, what we are doing. I'm not a box of chocolates, nor a car to be liked or disliked by this or that person. What's important is that I am suitable for our people and fulfill my duties. In my opinion, that's how it is. The second story. In my opinion, the President of the United States looks at this story more pragmatically. He probably wants the war to end and for it to happen quickly. We want it to be quick, but in this configuration, quick means at someone's expense. And in this configuration, it's either at the expense of the Russians or at the expense of the Ukrainians. Obviously, they don't like me because I don't allow it to end at the expense of Ukrainians. That is why I believe that withdrawing from the east of our country is a high risk for Ukraine and for Europe. And in the end, an unsuccessful peace is a major risk for Trump and his team. That's why we need to talk. Moreover, if all three sides want to end the war, at the very least, there should be at least one meeting at the leaders' level to discuss the issues of territories and security guarantees. These are the two key topics, territories and security guarantees. And such a meeting has not yet been organized. Here, the United States of America is the mediator. I believe that these opportunities are in their hands.
We have such risks, of course, because American side, it's not a secret, they're very open with this, that their focus is Iran, that Ukraine is not the first priority. They shared this message with my team, and my team said that, look, but in any way we have such big, they said, yes, it's very important for us, the situation in Ukraine, the situation with the war, Russia against Ukraine, but you have to know this, our army is in Iran, and that's why our focus is on Middle East. We hope, they say, we hope that in the closest future the war will end and we will come back to your situation.